Okay guys, I'm back again. I'm sorry about that. My last video I did, my phone was at like 16% and it died for some reason. I've been having some issues with this phone, so I have it plugged in now. But anyways, I deleted my other video because it cut out, so now I'm doing this new one. So as I said in my other one, for those of us who understand that we're going to be here for the tribulation, people are preparing. There's nothing wrong with preparing, you guys. Let's say even if you believe in a pre-trib rapture, it's still better to prepare for what if. What if you're wrong? You don't have to prepare if you want to go out right away. That's so be it. That's your choice. I personally want to keep bringing people to Christ. So I'm going to be like the 7 years harvest, 7 years none. I'm going to be like Noah and work my tail butt off, saving up food and preparing and knowing how to build my shelter for what God warns us what's to come for. I'm going to be as the ant. So, with that being said, as I was explaining in my last video, today I'm wanting to talk about different scrubs. You have sugar scrubs, you have salt scrubs, you have all these different things, and they do have medical values to them as well, especially certain plants. Lavender, for example. Today I picked the last of my lavender that I had. We're in Wisconsin, and it's November 2nd, so yeah, the lavender plants are pretty much done for. So I got off what I had left of them, and I just started kind of chopping them up because I'm going to use them for sugar scrubs and salt scrubs. They're really good for the body. They're all natural, and what you're doing is you're taking the dead skin cells off, and you feel really good afterwards. It just feels good and nice and clean, and it also hydrates your body. Um, I also wanted to mention one of my sugar scrubs. This is my first time I used raw sugar versus regular sugar, and I've noticed that the consistency is a little different, so I don't know if anybody can give me a little heads up on maybe what I did wrong. But I'll turn this around and kind of show everybody what I'm talking about. So, this is some of the lavender that I got from my garden today that I'm chopping up because I'm going to use this for different scrubs, and actually I'm going to use it for a lotion as well, and oh my gosh, it smells so good. There's a lot of medical properties to this. In my garden, when I planted last spring, I made sure to plant a lot of different plants that have medical values. One of the really neat things, guys, that I wanted to talk about really quick here is we have these pharmaceutical companies that are multi-billion-dollar companies. You have all these lobbyists and everything else. The really cool thing is God created everything that we need. Everything. Back in the day, they didn't have a doctor you could go to and get a pill and swallow it and be all better. No, they used God's creation to heal themselves with, not something that was made in a lab. So I just want to point that out. I think it's very important that everybody get an understanding of what plants do what and how to use them for medical purposes, from diabetes to heart blood pressure to asthma, allergies, pain. I mean, there's so many things that God created that we can pretty much take care of ourselves with just God's creation. And I think it's important that people understand that and start practicing that now, not later, but now. What's wrong with doing that? There's nothing wrong with doing it. You're living a healthier life doing that. So anyways, as I said, today I started doing some sugar scrubs last night and into today, but I just want to turn this around again. So this is the lavender, and my next batch I'm going to do is going to be a lavender sea salt scrub and a lavender sugar scrub, and I'm also going to make lotion out of it as well. So this is there's a difference between these two. This is brown sugar. This is a brown sugar vanilla scrub that is greeny, but not as greeny as this is. This I actually used raw sugar with. Normally I don't use raw sugar, but I thought I would try raw sugar because I figured it would last longer because it's got the bigger grains to it. However, what I found, and I made this last night, as you can see, the coconut oil settled and hardened on the bottom. So on the top, I mean, it's not the consistency it should be. So I don't know if anybody's got any advice for that. Maybe you just can't use the raw sugar and you have to use other sugar. I just wanted to get it as natural as I can with this, hence the raw sugar. But if anybody's got any advice on why this happened or what I did wrong, that would be great. But yeah, it's basically just what I wanted to show you guys today, and some of the things that I'm doing, and encouraging everybody to go out and learn what plants do what trees do what. A person, like I've said before in my last videos, can survive on the inner white bark of a pine tree for a week with no food or water, and just that alone. Maple season's coming up soon here in Wisconsin in February, so we will be mapling out some trees and having some fresh maple. It tastes really good. Nothing like the store-bought stuff, guys. It's when you do things naturally, there's such a difference. And you're not putting all that junk in your body. As I was trying to explain in my last video, when I worked at a nursing home as LPN, there were elderly people somewhere, there, just for an example, there was a gal that was like 106 years old, 100 and something. She was over 105, I remember that. And she had worked on the Titanic switchboard at that time. When the Titanic went down, she was on the switchboard and she heard everything. And a lot of the people I took care of came from families that had 12 brothers and 12 sisters that were raised on a farm, that drank raw milk, ate eggs that came straight from the chicken coop, this and that. And they didn't hear of half the crap that we have today because they didn't eat junk food. When I say junk food, you go to the grocery store and you buy a package of meat, that's got dye in it and GMOs. Not good for you. You go to a farmer that free ranges and buy a cow, you have a healthy cow that you're eating. Way healthier than going to the grocery store. To give you an example, chicken eggs. You can go, my chicken eggs that I grab from my coop, when chickens lay eggs, they have a certain coating on them that actually protects them. That fresh chicken eggs from a farm can literally last, and anybody can ask a farmer, talk to people, Google it. I'm not sure what Google will really say for sure, but I know that they can last up to 9 months without washing them. Once you wash them, you take that protective layer off of them, and they're no longer good. Back in the day, they didn't even put eggs in the refrigerator. They had what was called egg baskets that they hung outside. That's where their eggs were. There's so many things. Raw milk, for example. I love raw milk. I think it's way healthier, way better, and it's actually better for kids. You have that fat content in it that's important for the brain. Goat milk is another really good milk. Back in the day when women couldn't breastfeed, they didn't have formula. They didn't have stores they could buy formula at. They used goat milk in place of breast milk. But anyways, when you buy pasteurized milk from the store, the pasteurized milk kills all the good bacteria in it. So what you're getting isn't the good bacteria, and this is why store-bought milk spoils, is because you kill all the good bacteria. With raw milk, the good bacteria just keeps growing. It changes consistency, it changes form, it changes smell, but it never really spoils. It just changes itself. For example, if you leave raw milk sit in a canned, like a canning jar, on the counter, this is how I make my cheese. I let it sit for 5 days, and then I strain it, I hang it, I add my salt to help dry it out, and it's a process, but you hang it, and that's how you make your cheese. It just changes consistency. It's not bad for you. It just changes consistency, and turns into different things, be it, for cream, for sour cream, for cream cheese, for cheese. I mean, there's so many different things. Yogurt, ice cream, it's all a different consistency and how long you leave it out, how long you leave it hang, or this or that, or where you skim it from. But yeah, I really encourage everybody to learn these things. knowledge is power, is what I always say. So the more a person knows, the wiser you are. And there's nothing wrong with understanding that everything God created is for our benefit. Um, God didn't leave anything out. I mean, he's quite an intelligent being, and I can't wait to meet him because the things that I'm learning on his creations and how we really don't need all the man-made stuff that we have today. We can do just fine without doctors and pharmaceutical companies and this and that if we just knew what plants and trees and what did what, as they did since the beginning of time, how they did things. It's really amazing. So when Noah was preparing all those years, saving up food and herbs and this and that, and building his shelter, he knew to use God's creation. And that's how I'm kind of looking at right now. 7 years harvest, 7 years none. Think is the ant. B is the ant. B is the worker. But yeah, this lavender just smells so good. This whole camper smells like lavender and I love it. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that video with you, and God bless you all. Please research these things, understand these things, and start preparing. Like I said, I know that we're not going to get out of here before the tribulation. And when I look at my kids and my grandkids, I think, well, do I want to be prepared or do I not want to be prepared? I think if there was a tornado warning, would I take my grandkids and go stand on the roof? Or would I get in the basement with flashlights and water and food? That's everybody can handle that in whatever way they want. But for those who believe in a pre-trib rapture, and if you have children and a family and you're not preparing, you're going to wish you would have listened. Because when you find yourself in that time, you're going to wish you would have listened when you look at your children's faces. I don't plan on getting knocked out right away, so to speak, at the beginning of the tribulation. I believe that God's got a plan for many of us to bring more people to Christ and to help fellow Christians. So that's what I'm doing. I'm preparing for that. I know that we don't get to clock out of work early, guys. We got a job to do. We're disciples, and we're going to be bringing people to Christ even during that time. And the more that we can bring, the merrier, is the way I say it. But otherwise, guys, have a very blessed night. Have a great weekend. God bless you all, and take care.